flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you had a chance to try some pizza there that's made by our local provider here, Luna Pizza. And we certainly were sensitive to some of your dietary needs. And so we have vegetarian, Southwest chicken, so I hope you have enjoyed it. My name is Dr. Joy Lewis. I'm actually the president of the Asian American Commerce Group. And tonight, of course, I welcome everyone to our 2024 Republican Candidates Forum. Tonight, we gather as proud Americans, united by our love for this great nation and our commitment to its core values: freedom, opportunity, and democracy. Values we all hold so dear and cherish. This forum is a testament to the power of collaboration. You're going to witness it here tonight. 8 very strong, powerful members of the minority groups. We have the belief that together we can shape the future of Central Ohio and beyond. Central Ohio is unique, a place where diverse communities come together, not as separate groups. We are neighbors, as friends, and as fellow citizens. We come from different backgrounds, as you can see around, different cultures, and different histories. Yet we share one thing in common: a deep love for this country and a desire to see it thrive. Our communities, whether we've been here for generations, are new to the area. We have woven our strengths into the fabric of Central Ohio. From our doctors, nurses, administrators, small business owners, and educators, we are all contributing to the growth and vitality of this region. Together, we are building a future where everyone has a chance to pursue the American dream. We gather here tonight with the same spirit that has guided this nation from its founding fathers: a spirit of determination, resilience, and unwavering belief in the principles of liberty. As we look around this room, we see the faces of those who embody the promise of America, who work every day to make our communities stronger and more vibrant. It is my honor to introduce the leaders from many of these communities who will share a brief remarks tonight. They represent the best of what Central Ohio has to offer and remind us that the true strength of this great nation lies in its people. I request that each community leader come and share a few words. So I have the wireless microphone. I'd like to call them, of course, representing the Asian American Commerce Group, Dipender Jingle. And you know, we said 1 minute or less, right? Come on, okay.
60 seconds.
Well, Ashton's not here yet. Is Ashton here? I don't think so. I haven't seen him yet. So. Thank you.
Hello? Hello. Well, since we all look alike, nobody will notice that I have that. I don't mind laughing at myself because I came here in the 70s. By the way, AACG started in 1993 with the same purpose, to bring the people together and represent their interest both on the political side, as well as connect with each other so our business grows as well as the community grows. And with that, I think 1 minute is over.
I wanted to please get the board member statement. I was getting signed. You know, Congressman Kerry did us a big favor tonight, but I asked him, I requested for him to be here, despite the fact that he actually has 2 events or 2 commitments, you know, and we weren't actually in his schedule, but I saw him last Tuesday and said, please, you know, you need to see and meet the minority groups, and because we work so hard to bring this to the community. So I'm very pleased and honored to present Congressman Kerry.
Hello. There be light. Thank you, Joy. Thank you for the introduction. Actually, what she told me was that if I didn't show up, she was going to call my sister-in-law, Bella. And if you ever met my sister-in-law, Bella, I would never live that down. So we definitely tried to make some time. We came from Madison County. We've got to go back downtown to an organization called Sanctuary Night. Wonderful organization. It's on the west side of town. So we're going there this evening. But quickly, I just want to say a few things. One, I think it's very important that we understand what the future of our country looks like. And if you think about 2017, we passed tax reform, major tax package. But all of the provisions that affect small business across this country are set to expire in 2025. And why is that important? Because the direction of this country, the direction of Congress, all spending bills come from the House of Representatives. And if the Republicans don't maintain the House of Representatives, when Donald Trump and J.D. Vance go back to the White House, we will not be able to extend the Trump-era tax cuts in 2017. It will have to be modified. So that is why it's so important that we have leadership in the House. And listen, right now Republicans only have 3 votes. That's it, a 3-vote majority. So all of the pieces of legislation that we're going to have to work on are going to have to be bipartisan in many ways, because we simply won't get it over the finish line. But I would tell you, I would much rather have a Republican, J.C. Smith, chairing the House Ways and Means with me than I would somebody from the Democratic Party, because I know the direction that they want to go. So if you want a pro-growth, pro-economy agenda, stay with the Republican Party. It's the most important thing. The other thing I'm going to touch on, because I don't know if anybody else is going to touch on this, because there's a lot of confusion. Issue 1. Everybody has seen the ads. Let me just tell you a little bit about issue 1. Every 10 years, we go through reapportionment, redistricting. And so what that means, and we've codified in this law, 75% of the voters in the state said they like the way that we do our system. But $26 million, $26 million has been spent trying to convince people that what we have in place in the state of Ohio is not the right way to go. Why is that important? Because of that $26 million, $6 million of that money came from a Swiss billionaire who actually lives in Switzerland. And of the other $20 million, only 200,000 of it actually came from the state of Ohio. So I want you to think about that. Why do people in New York, why do people in California, why do people in Switzerland care about the system that we have in place? It's because they can't win. And they want to change the rules. So I want you to read the ballot language. I want you to study it, but I implore on all of you, vote no on issue 1. Vote for Donald Trump, vote for me. but the thing that I ask you is, when you go to the polls, please read it. Please tell all the members in your communities how important it is. If you want Ohio to continue to be the pro-growth economy that it is, we got to stand. So So with that, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for having me, and I humbly ask for your vote this November. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Congressman Gary, for making it to our candidates night. So we will proceed with the other minority groups because, again, they work very hard to bring this candidates night together. Also, with the Asian American Commerce Group, I just would like for the board members who are present to please stand. Got Sandra, of course, Vipendra, Hina Malik, and I know Ashton is on his way. Well, thank you, and of course, Tamara Lindsay and Mark, our paid staff, so we thank you for all your help. Representing the Asian American Coalition of Ohio is Hong Hee. Please come forward.
Thank you so much, Joy. Hi, good evening, everybody. I am going to definitely keep it under 1 minute. So, our organization was founded about 10 years ago. Our mission is to educate, engage, and empower the AAPI community. We want to build informed citizens and then empower the leaders among the community. So through the community engagement, through youth leadership development programs, through voter education, voter registration events, through public policy advocacy. So we all know that democracy means that by the people, governed by the people, right? What are the main traits of a strong democracy? Informed citizen, adaptive policy, fair process, information communication, and then a societal cohesion. So those are the 5 key, I see people nodding. So I really applaud all of you to be here tonight. Thank you so much for all the candidates and good luck to you. And thank you so much for all of you taking the time to be here to learn about the candidates and then make informed and responsible decisions during the general election. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And I'm representing the Community Association of Pakistani Americans and has been very supportive of this event is Amjad Bey, President of CAP.
Yes, my name is Amjad Beg. I'm the president for Community Association of Pakistani Americans for the last few years. So we have given a great opportunity to serve our community at large. So I'm also basically connecting all communities together within Pakistani American community. So this is a great gesture that we're all doing together. This great cause is 501c3, non-profit, and it's non-partisan. We don't support either party. We support all parties together. So I also thank my wife for supporting me in all these activities I do. I cannot do it without her. And also Omar Ashraf, he's been helping us, and many few new folks who are with us, they've been helping us. So we all request just work together as one community in Columbus, Ohio. Thank you.
Thank you, Amjad. And representing the Libre Initiative is Francisco Vittorio.
So I represent Libre Initiative. Libre Initiative is a non-profit organization. We are focused on empowering and educate the Latino community in order to live with the dream, the American dream, fully. So we have 4 pillars, issues very important for us: education, healthcare, immigration, and of course, economy. Thank you very much.
Shafi here. I'd like to ask a representative for the Philippine American Society of Central Ohio, Rex Alba, or any board member from PASCO. Well, I'll just speak for PASCO. I'm former president of the Philippine American Society of Central Ohio. I was president in 97, 98, and actually the president right now. He's competing as it's the world's competition for chef, and he's in Nashville right now, so that's the reason why he's not with us. But anyway, we have about 600 families of Filipinos here. Of course, most of them are nurses and doctors and educators. So they're around, and they offer free membership. And by the way, I was going to say, of course, all of those who spoke this evening, you know, they're open for membership. I know I asked home, it's free, just sign up. And same with PASCO, Philippine American Society of Central Ohio. Now, I'd like to ask a member of the Somali American Chamber of Commerce, did Shafi make it? If he will, just wait for him. I know he's on his way. Farzan, okay. West and East African Communities of Central Ohio, represented by Daniel Ajayi, and actually from the Nigerian community.
Thank you, everybody. The West and East African community, actually, it's a community of nations that fall under that cabinet. So we have Nigeria, we have the Sierra Leone, we have Uganda, we have the Congolese community as well. Up till this moment, that part of our society has focused more on education and leadership. And so now we're trying to see the best possible ways to get them involved in our public leadership. And so I'm glad to be representing that community here tonight. And then to wrap it off, of course, when you talk about educational sector, of course, you will always see the Nigeria, as having the highest statistics as far as it's concerned. So it's high time now we want to bring all these, laudable skills and knowledge and all of that into our public space. So I believe that together we can build a better future. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Ajayi. Now, as you have seen, 8 of us, 8 minority groups. We are minority, but actually we are the majority. We contributed $10.2 billion, just the Asian American community. We contributed $10.2 billion in our country for the state of Ohio. And then, of course, the other minority groups too, close to $1 billion. So just think about how strong, powerful, and united we are. We are here because we want to know what you will do for us, especially the small businesses and to our communities. So having said that, we still have pizza. We will continue. I'd like at this moment to hand things over to Omar Ashraf, who will be a moderator of this evening.
Thank you. I got more claps than I could hear. It's the love that brings you back. And then I couldn't say no to Joy. When Joy says just to do something, you do it. Again, thank you, Joy, and thank you each and every one of you for being here tonight. It's a true testament to the strength of our democracy when citizens gather to engage in the political process. Tonight, we have the privilege of hearing from candidates who have stepped forward to serve our community and our country. They bring with them their ideas, their vision, and their commitment to a brighter future for all of us. Here's how this evening will proceed. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to introduce themselves and share their vision. If they happen to go over, is Mark here? Mark? Mark, you got the red card?
Yes.
Well, Mark is wearing an orange shirt. Oh, okay. So if you go over the 2 minutes, we'll do the green card, the yellow card, and then we'll do the red card in the 30-minute wrap-up. 3 minutes. Okay, so they changed on me. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Yeah, okay. Well, we gave people 1 minute. We were thinking, but then Joy took so long, so 3 minutes. And then audience, if you have questions, the way we're going to do it is there's cards in the back. Grab a card, hand it over to me, and we'll go through. If not, I have a bank of questions that most of the people turned in. We'll go over those. We're limiting 2 questions per candidate, and we ask that all questions remain thoughtful and courteous. Okay? So now I would like to introduce Brian Lorenz. I know you got another commitment to go to, so I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you guys very much for being here. Many of you I already know, and I appreciate you spending time on a Thursday evening to come out with us. My story is not that much different than many of yours. I'm a first-generation American. My father came here to the United States to provide me and my brother and sister the American dream. I'm a small business owner as well, and I really believe in commerce, moving our economy forward, and equal participation in our government process. Omar's a great friend of mine, so whatever he says behind my back, just take it with a grain of salt. But in all sincerity, the other young ladies that I work with up here on the stage share our commitment to moving our economy forward, to making a difference, and to providing all cultures access to all facets of our government. And so by you guys being here, I'm very proud and excited because this is your country as much as it is mine, as much as it is Omar's, as much as it is of theirs. We all share in the responsibility for moving our country forward. And this is what makes America great, right? I mean, look at all of us, right? We're all from different walks of lives, different stories. We've come here from oppression. We've come here for a better opportunity. We've come here to realize the American dream. And in the State House, as a small business owner, as a free market capitalist, as someone that wants to move our country, our state, our local economy forward, I am here to work with you. And so I'm just really grateful to be here, happy to answer any questions, and it's good to see so many smiling faces. Thank you.
All right, we'll have you guys, let me see if this works. It's working? There we go. So, when we say that it's going to start at 5:30, and Pakistani Standard Time is 6:30, right? But I thought it was only limited to the Pakistani community. So I guess I was kind of wrong. I'm going to take it back.
Germans are late too. It's okay.
All right, so nobody really turned in any questions? Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask? It's supposed to be written on a card. If not, I have a bank. Question back? Okay. So it's going to be on economy and fiscal policy. So recently, families in our communities have been struggling with the rising costs of groceries and everyday necessities. Many small businesses have to make tough decisions to just keep their doors open. How do you plan to address the inflation and promise economic growth to support both families and small businesses in our district?
So it's a great question, and I'm glad you brought it up. As the former vice chair of Ways and Means, which handles the majority of the tax, property tax income tax, taxing, issues that we face here. I've been able to work on a lot of legislation and have some things passed to help mitigate those costs for homeowners and businesses as well. Along with Representative Lear, we have served together where we were able to remove 5 tax brackets from our economy. We've removed the cat tax. And raise the threshold for what a small business owner would normally be forced to pay. As a small business owner myself, I used to own a CrossFit gym, I own an anesthesia business, along with my wife. And those certain thresholds that you would be at, and you would really be I don't want to say punished, but where we were to where we are now in mitigating those costs helps put more money in small business owners' pockets. And it doesn't matter who you are, those are the things that we're really attuned to and akin to, and what we're really, really working on to remedy to help create that flow of cash and put more money in your pocket.
Thank you. So the next question is going to be on education. So during the pandemic, many parents struggled with virtual learning and differences between school districts becoming more apparent. School choice has become a topic of interest as parents seek better opinions, options for their children. What is your stance on school choice in charter schools, and how would you ensure quality education for all students in our state?
I fully support school choice. I think that parents have the best knowledge, skills, and ability to understand and make those decisions on how their kids are educated. My mother was a 40-year-old, or I'm sorry, not 40, a 40-year teacher up in Mansfield and that area. I have a daughter who is studying to become a teacher at Bowling Green. And so, let's let the teachers teach. Let's let the parents make those decisions, and let's all work together to put our kids in the best position. We're in a situation here where we're going to need our kids to go forward to work in careers that, like you and I might not think. When we were kids, it was college, right? And so that's still important, but we still have a great deal of jobs that we've got to fill that are technical related, that require a sophisticated amount of STEM education, engineering. We have a great need for filling positions in the healthcare arena, in our protecting our citizens, as well as first responders, and I know we have some here. So what we need to do is allow our parents to work with their kids and make the best decisions on how to educate those kids. So whatever level of education or however that looks like, we should always embrace that.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for being here. I'm going to call John Bertan to come and have a few minutes.
Thanks.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to first thank God. I think God's most important entity, ground, but for God, I want us to be here. I'd like to thank Joy for essentially putting this together, Omar for including me, and then my friend Shafiq for even inviting me. Shafiq. So, I was unaware of this opportunity until last night, so I'm grateful to be here. I never speak an opportunity, so the fact that Omar squeezed me in here means a lot. I did leave some brochures back there. But to give you a little bit about me, I've been a defense attorney for 13 years, and over the last 4, I've seen a lot of problems. Instead of complaining, I decided I'd do something about it. So I chose this position so instead of helping 50 to 100 people a year, I can take the job and help everybody. And the role of the county prosecutor is different than politicians, and that's why I love it, because there's no democracy. The day I get elected, I can do the right thing. It's easy to do the right thing, it's harder to find the right candidate. You never heard me until today because I don't fundraise. I don't believe you should be asking me for money for a job interview. And that's what this really is. And so what does a county prosecutor do? A county prosecutor is not an investigator. What we do is we get files from law enforcement and then we make a decision to charge. So the roles of the county prosecutor is what charges do we present with people, what's reasonable bail, whether or not somebody gets out or not, what's a proper plea offer, how good is the trial staff, and what happens afterwards. And when I looked at the job responsibilities, I knew this was the perfect fit for me. Because it takes good judgment to fix a person. And what I've learned being a defense attorney is most people are really good. Everybody's good. But they share 4 traits typically: lack of faith, lack of family, hurt people, hurt others, and money. And if you fix that issue, you can change a life. And so I want to use this opportunity to help people. And the main difference between me and about any other candidate that's existed is I actually care about everybody. And it takes good judgment to understand the difference between punching somebody and crushing somebody, between doing nothing or something. And what happens is if you punch somebody, you fix them. If you crush them, you create a new generational criminal. And if you do nothing, they do it again. And the last 2.5 years, 1,100 cars were stolen, 400 by repeat defendants. Why? Because you have a county prosecutor that doesn't do the job. You're going to see me up and down the hallway. I will be the most active guy you ever heard of. I'm in the community. My cell phone won't change. I can't wait to deal with people. I can ask more, but there might be questions. I gave us some brochures. I love the questions, and I love the opportunity. And I just want you to know I'm really grateful to be here. The reason why is because race doesn't matter to me. Money doesn't matter to me. Gender doesn't matter to me. Sexual preference doesn't matter to me. The only thing I care about is the character of the person and the facts of the case, and that's it. And I think that's important for this role, and that's why I tell people it's not a political position, it's a moral position. That's why you've heard about it. Because I'm the real deal, and I'm here to do the right thing, and God bless you all, and thank you for being here. And my cell phone's there. You can call me anytime if you don't get to talk to me today. There's some brochures back there. Thank you so much.
So I have questions for you. Can I start to the,
I love questions.
Okay. All right. So we'll go over public safety and law enforcement since you're running for the county prosecutor's office. After a recent uptick in break-ins in nearby neighborhood, residents have been hollering about increased police presence and support for law enforcement. At the same time, there are discussions around police reform. How would you balance the need for community safety and police accountability with what specific measures would you propose as a county prosecutor?
You know what, I love that question because I know police get a bad rep, but I love police because the truth is, without police, our society would collapse. But here's the difference between me and any other candidate. As a defense attorney, I put them on the stand, and if they do wrong, I point it out. I've sued for excessive force, and I've been sued for wrongful death. So I'm actually God, and again, I hate to always stress on God, but it's true. Because when you believe in God, nothing else matters. It's like, Lord's my shepherd, what can man do to me? And that's how I feel. So what I tell police, and the reason why I'm going to be great for this, is because police are in the community. They know what's going on. The police are in the community. They know what's going on. And so it might be your first time getting caught, but they've been trying to get you for a while. So unlike the current prosecutor who doesn't listen to the police, I'm going to listen to the police. My other favorite asset is I'm going to counsel, not cover up. What do I mean by that? As a defense attorney, I know constitutional rights better than anybody. And when they violate my client's constitutional rights, I file a motion to suppress to get rid of the evidence. The prosecutors, instead of saying, yeah, you're right, they argue it. And what happens is if you don't correct the behavior, you foster an environment of bad police conduct. So police are really good. I've been doing this for 13 years. It probably took me about 5 to 10 to become an expert. Think about that. I go to college, I go to law school, I'm my own lawyer, I fight, and it takes experience. So I'm mindful that police have good hearts and normal people, but they don't have the education I have. So I'm going to work hand in hand with them with that. But on the other hand, I wasn't endorsed by the FOP. The reason why, again, is I don't care who you are. If you hurt people, I'm going to hurt you, especially when you're in a position of power. So I believe the people that are in positions of trust need to be treated differently. So I'm going to listen to them, I'm going to counsel, not cover up, and I'm going to prosecute them if it desires, but I'm going to prosecute them fairly. I'm not going to use it politically. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next question is on the Second Amendment. So as we're noticing that gun violence is becoming an issue, especially in Franklin County, we're beginning to see ghost guns with ghost vehicles. And then Second Amendment comes into question. What do you propose to protect the Second Amendment rights and address concerns around gun violence and safety?
I love that question. And what's amazing about that is if you punish the small things, the big things don't happen. And what do I mean by that? It's very simple. If you punish the small things, the big things don't happen. And here's what I mean by that. I don't normally give the example, but it's true. When I was 21 years old, I punished somebody for calling my sister a dirty name. I got sentenced to 6 months in jail. By the grace of God, I got out after 8 days. Because I was punished but not crushed, I changed. If I would have been 6 months, my life would have been over. So at the age of 40, 20 years later, my ex stole my money, stole my child, and had an affair. I don't like to mention it, but it's embarrassing. Whatever, it's true. I wanted to kill the guy. Guess what I did? Nothing. So my point is this: if you take care of the small behavior when they're juvenile, it won't happen again. The other policy I have is if you take a gun to the street, oh well, you can't have it. You're going to get punished for it. Too often people bring guns to the street that can't have them, and they get probation, and that's not good because there's a big difference between not being able to have a gun but leaving it at home for protection and taking it out of your car. I have guns. Guess where they're at? At home. They aren't in my car. They aren't even with me as a county prosecutor or a candidate. So I will punish people that use guns because it's important. Because remember, guns kill people. And I analogize that to the car thefts. The reason why I take car theft seriously is because a car can kill somebody. So any weapon that can hurt people, I take very seriously. And again, when you punish the small things, you prevent the big ones. Because I'll tell you this, I wanted to kill somebody and I didn't. And it only took me a week in jail. I didn't have to go to jail for 3 years. So thank you very much, and God bless you all. And I really appreciate all your time and consideration. I can take more questions than I was permitted, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Please, you got my number if you need me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, I'm going to call Bessa Scherer. She's running for State Senate District 16.
Hi everyone, how you doing tonight? This is an incredible evening. It's so nice to see everyone here. My name is Bessa Scherer. I'm running for the Ohio Senate, District 16. So Brian said he's the first generation American, so I guess I'm zero generation. I came here when I was 17 years old, about 20 years ago, 21 now. And I went to engineering school. I came here 10 days before I started school. I graduated mechanical engineering and met my husband at the library of our school at Wright State University. I immigrated from Albania. For those of you that are not familiar, Albania was communism for 50 years. My family was incredibly persecuted. 7 people of my family were executed for thinking and looking to the West. For believing in God, for believing in our inalienable rights. And so from a young age, I understood the importance of a republic. I understood the importance of a democracy, one that functions well. Fast forward, I came to the United States. I got my mechanical engineering degree. I decided I was going to be an engineer forever, be a good wife, a good mother. And then 15 years into that career, something wasn't working. So I decided to I founded my own business, a small financial consulting firm that I operate still. So I'm a small business owner, and most of my career has been in the private sector. I'm running because there's a couple of reasons, but the first and the biggest one is I want to do something good for the country that's done everything for me. And so if there is someone that can relate to you all coming to this country with barely anything, I spoke English, so that I had that, but I came from a third world country. I had very little in means. I was raised with a big dream and with a lot of love for the United States. So I am in pursuit of the American dream the same way you guys are. I have 2 young daughters, a 9 and a 3-year-old, for whom I go to work every day, I fight every day. And so a lot of things that are near and dear to my heart that are happening in this district right now are part of the reason why I'm running. Just real quick, how much time do I have? Oh, she forgot.
Your speech was so good.
So just real quick, District 16, you're standing in it, right? Dublin, Hillary, New Albany. Gahanna, Westerville, Blacklake, a little bit of Worthington, and a little bit of Columbus. It is where most of the economic development will come here in Ohio. I live about, basically not even a mile away from the Intel plant. I was honored to be the only candidate that was allowed to tour it last week. And it is just incredible, the level of progress that has happened within the last year is out of this world. And so I'm very, very excited. Most of my career has actually been, I mentioned I was an engineer, but in data center technology, automation, artificial intelligence. And guess what? Within this district, we have 4 of the largest data centers in the nation. So Google, Amazon rely on the workforce of Ohio to get their talent. So just think of that for a minute. As people and opportunities come to Ohio, we're going to have to work on housing. We're going to have to upskill the people that we have today, right? And accommodate new workforce that will come here from other states, which is very important. Which means when we're asking executives to move here to Ohio, the first question they ask is, what's your education like? What's your childcare like? What's your housing like? So we need someone that is effective in the Ohio Senate that can get things done. And guess what? I can be bipartisan. I have a master's in international negotiation and policy making. Literally, I can negotiate anything, just ask my husband. Thank you.
That's good. You want to continue to go on?
Absolutely, if she'll let me. Will you let me?
We're going to be even. We'll let Beth here. Beth, you want to talk more too?
Whatever you would like.
Do we have any questions?
Yeah, so let me do questions, and then if we have time, we'll do some.
I have an actual question, Dalmar.
Okay, so
Yes, ma'am. She's got a question.
well, it's got to be written. I can't tell. You want to go ahead, say it?
Just go
All
ahead.
right, go ahead. Come up on stage.
So I know prior representative, we talked about the issue, but I would like to have your opinion because you said you can be bipartisan. So I hope your opinion will be not just like party line. So what's your take on issue one?
Got it. So much. So hopefully everybody heard that it's about issue 1. Nobody likes gerrymandering. It sucks. All right. I hate it. The other side hates it. Here's the thing about issue 1. It's got about 13,000 words in it. Most of them are meant to confuse people into thinking that they are making a choice of empowerment to make a decision themselves. As it is today, we actually have a commission that can help make those decisions. The way the wording is today, and I'm not saying yes or no because you didn't ask me, you asked me what I think of it, right? The way it's written today, it makes it look like what issue 1 is seeking to do is actually take that power away from people. As someone that came here from a communist country, who's actually, we did have a constitution, just so you know, but we are unable to raise a referendum as people, right? Only the president, the prime minister of my former country have that ability. The way it's written today, issue 1 would take away the power of the people. Furthermore, right, again, not biased here, not talking party lines, if you read it, you're going to see that there is a racially biased clause in there, right? And that's all I'm going to say about that. And the third part, right, since you asked me, I'm being very honest with you, circle of trust here. The third and probably the most important part of it is that as people, we voted, I believe in 2015 and 2018, to have a commission that is representative of all of us as peoples. By removing that, you essentially would be voting someone like me, let's say, to represent an area of Ohio that I have nothing to do with. in my district. I know my district. I lived for 5.5 years in Westerville. I lived in Hilliard. The only city I've not lived in is actually Dalmar. That's what I think of it. So hopefully that helped. Thank you.
Thank you. So, I'm just had a question about school lunches.
I think it's Matt's question. So
It's, well, okay. Any advice? Okay.
Please do.
So I have asked this question to many representatives in the state of Ohio and even the Congressman Mike Carey. So I came to a conclusion that the mental health awareness, need to be addressed, but to our children, they're not in a good mental health most of the time. And moving forward, they're going to be our second generation, third generation. So what I noticed that the lunch system and the breakfast system in our schools are basically old-fashioned. So my child goes to sleep like 10 p.m. He wakes up 7 a.m. in the morning, goes to school. He doesn't do breakfast. My wife is sitting there. She knows and I know. Go to school, and then breakfast, they don't have a right choice to pick, to eat. So he doesn't have breakfast at school, and lunch, he doesn't like lunch. Most of the kids I talk to in our community, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So starvation period starts for our children starting 10 p.m. and goes to 3 p.m. So basically 15 hours of starvation. Even the rich people are going through, their families are going through. So we need to change a system of lunch and breakfast. They can come with a smart app. They can pre-order the lunch and breakfast. They can give them like maybe 20 choices, and the first top 10 choices they can be selected. So people will eat more lunch instead of wasting in the trash. So I will ask Bessa or Beth how they think it can be fixed.
So if I understand it correctly, you're looking for a healthier lunch.
And breakfast, yes.
And breakfast, got it. Look, that's tough, right? Because we all see that there is a crisis in nutrition, the way we categorize fruits and vegetables, etc. I think that it also does depend what school district you go to. It really does. Columbus City schools are well funded. They should be able to give a nutritious lunch, right? So that's very, very important. I think one of the things that we struggle with in the United States, and I think I speak for everybody, is our food is a lot different, right? It's a lot more nutritious. The United States places a different value on food and carbs and proteins than what we do. So I agree with you on that. You had a part there about mental health, and I want to touch upon it if that's okay. In the past 11 months, one of the things I wanted to learn about was mental health initiatives when it comes to our school districts, so like Gahanna, New Albany, etc. And so I did interview with teachers, I'm not going to disclose who, to kind of understand how school counseling works in the district. It was eye-opening. I am shocked, first of all, at how little we still have in terms of numbers of school counselors per child. I was actually told that one of the Gahanna schools has one school counselor per 600 kids. That's unacceptable to me, right? And that's one of the commitments within my campaign platform, is to make sure that we address that, because I think part of the reason that we see such a breakdown in communication in the environment that we're in, right, with schools, is that we just don't have enough services. So whenever the school district has to come up with more money, one of the first things they do is they start cutting those services. So I want to make sure that the dollars that are specific to counseling, they go to counseling and they don't get cut. I think that's very, very important, and I agree with you on that. So hopefully that answered your question.
Thank you, Ressa. So, did you want to interview somebody? No?
Oh, I was just going to say, I work for Children's Hunger Alliance. That's my day job. And 1 in 5 children here in Ohio are food insecure. So just to put that in perspective. And also, we are number 15. State of Ohio is number 15 as far as hunger is concerned. So, we need to
reduce lunch. Yeah.
Right.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Beth.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you, everyone, for inviting us this evening. This is what America looks like, and it's a great honor to be able to speak to you. My name is Beth Lear. I'm the state representative for the eastern side of Delaware County and western Knox. The district for which I'm running is a little different because it's been redrawn. So while it is still Delaware County, it will also include Delaware City and all of the northern areas. So any of you who live there or know someone who lives there, I'm running to represent that space. I can't tell you what generation American I am because I'm adopted. So I do know that my parents were here in Columbus and I was raised in Delaware County. So I'm sort of a lifelong Delaware County person. I've grown up with this area as it's grown up, and many of you have done the same, come here and experienced how much Central Ohio is growing. And it's wonderful that you're able to take advantage of all of the things that Columbus, Ohio, and its suburbs have to offer. I do want to make an aside note, if that's okay. I love your shoes, Joy. The issues that are nearest and dearest to my heart are education. That's the area that I worked in prior to being elected. I've been an education policy analyst for a very long time. I do research on education issues, including school choice. I'm very supportive of that, but also supportive of the idea of public district schools, because I know that we will never have enough private schools or charter schools, which are public schools, for everyone. So we have to make sure that our public district schools are also excellent. And the biggest concern to me is that we focus on academics and we take as many dollars as possible and put them in the classroom. That is one of my goals for next session. If God willing, I get to go back. And I'm excited to work on that. I've also been working on the problem of property tax. Those of you who own your home, you understand how much those are raising constantly. We have entirely too many taxing jurisdictions in Ohio. Over 6,000 different entities have the ability to raise our taxes. We need to slice that number, but we also need to do something like House Joint Resolution 6, which is a plan that Representative Scott Wiggum and I have for the ballot that would let you vote on it to say, we don't want our property taxes to rise more than 4% or the rate of inflation, whichever is lower in any given year. That would be a good start. It's not a solution, but it's a good start, and it gives you the chance to have a say in whether you want to cap your property tax growth or not. Also, the safety and rights for women and girls is a huge issue for me. It's the reason I introduced House Bill 183, which says that boys and girls may not share bathrooms, locker rooms, or overnight accommodations, kindergarten through college. And that bill has passed out of the House. It is sitting in the Senate, and I am told on November 13th, the Senate will pass that bill and send it to the governor for signature to protect our kids. And lastly, I think it's very important that Ohio help with the immigration issues that we have. We have so many wonderful legal immigrants who need to weigh in and help us figure out the best way that we can handle what's happening in our state, because our tax dollars should be used on legal citizens and on people who have gone through the process. So I'm asking all of you if you would consider reaching out to my office and sharing your ideas of the best ways that we can make sure that we're having a wonderful immigration system in Ohio so that all legal immigrants are able to enjoy the freedoms and the liberties that we have here in this state.
Thank you. That was wonderful. I appreciate it. I got 2 questions for you. So, yeah, come on.
Thank you, Representative Blair. Thank you for your introduction. I want to ask a question relating to point number 1 that you talked about on education. So you did mention that we don't want to see our tax going up for the property tax because that's the main source to support public education. But then you also support the education choice, which means that the public tax dollar is being used to fund private education. So I want to hear from you, what is the solution? How do we keep the tax down, yet we are diverting money from public education?
Thank you for asking that. So when I worked at the Buckeye Institute as their education policy analyst, I actually did research on this issue similar to what you're asking. It was specifically about charter schools, we call them community schools in Ohio, and whether or not they were taking money from the district schools. What I discovered when I did the research, because they were not allowed to access any of the local tax dollars that come from levies, is that what was happening with each child that left a public district school to go to a charter school, all of the local money that would come through that child stayed. So only a portion of that money went with them to the new school. As a result, there was actually more money to spread around to the other students who remained. So say you had $20,000 coming into a Columbus school for a student, and let's just say $5,000 of that was local. So if the child left, that $5,000 would be spread around to all of the other children. Now, the question is, how can we continue to provide for the district schools if kids leave with Ed Choice? Ed Choice money is a separate pot. So the local money that comes in from levies does not go with Ed Choice students. It's the general fund of the state of Ohio that has to pay for that. And my plan to make sure we focus on academics is actually going to lower the cost of education, because right now, many of the things that we do in our schools are not academic in nature. If we focus on English and math and writing and science and history, those extra dollars that go into other issues that are mostly social are not going to need to be used. We will be able to save money in the schools by focusing on academics and helping kids do better. So I think we can do all of it. I think we can do school choice, and I think we can also improve our public schools at the same time.
Thank you. Thank you. So the next question was about issue 1. It looks like issue 1's a big question. It is very confusing language. Would you like to say a few words about that and elaborate what actually issue 1 is?
Sure. So I have done research on issue 1. And what we have happening in Ohio is not unique. It's happened in other states. This same type of constitutional amendment was adopted in California. It was adopted in Michigan. And one of the biggest problems is outside of Ohio sources, 80% of the funding for the issue 1 is coming from outside of Ohio. We talked about that. But one of the things that we didn't discuss was how this very issue in Michigan, the language is nearly identical, and it was found unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. Because what they did was they gerrymandered in order to get the outcome they wanted. They wanted proportionality. So in Ohio, what that looks like is we have somewhere between 54 and 57% registered Republicans, and the other percentage would be registered Democrats when you're just comparing the two parties, not talking about independents. The idea of proportionality is that you should have, in a legislature, in the House with 99 members, you should have about 54 Republicans and the remainder should be Democrats. But people don't vote that way. They vote for the person they want. They vote for the best candidate. And sometimes a Democrat district is going to choose a Republican, and sometimes a Republican district is going to choose a Democrat. So you can't really force it. Issue 1 tries to force it. And what they did in Michigan with the same language is they took Detroit, and the legislative members of Detroit were all African American. They drew Detroit out into the suburbs. They drew the districts out into the suburbs and out into the rural areas to create more Democrat districts. Every single black member of the legislature lost their seats. They were all replaced by white Democrats. That was found a violation of the 14th Amendment, racial gerrymandering. Issue 1 is not a panacea. There's no perfect way to do things, but I can tell you this. The current districts that have been drawn by a 7-member commission of Democrats and Republicans had every Republican and every Democrat on that commission vote for it. So the system we have now, while not perfect, is working, and I hope you'll consider that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I know I reached out to Brad at the last minute, and I said, hey, we're having an Asian commerce group get together and meet the client. And she said, send me the time, and send me the date, and I'll be there. And I was like, I really appreciate it the last minute. One other person I'd like to recognize is Senator Reynolds is here for us today. Would you please stand and thank you. I'll let you introduce yourself. Oh, okay. And then we have Representative Tracy Richardson here as well. Would you like to come up on stage? Even though I don't have you on the list, we'll give you 3 minutes and then we'll ask you a couple of questions as well. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely, and you're Omar.
I am Omar.
Nice to meet you, Omar. Well, thank you all very much. I did not know I was going to have the opportunity to be here this evening, but I heard about your gathering today. And of course, where there are people gathered and interested in learning about their leaders, I do my very, very best to be here. So I am Tracy Richardson. I represent all of Union County. If you're from Union County, will you raise your hand for me? Yay, you're from Union County. Okay, super. I represent all of Union County, which is a portion of Dublin, and I represent a good portion of Marion County, which is north of Delaware. And I am really delighted to be a 27-year resident of Ohio. I'm a mom. In fact, I think my son is here and my husband is here. There's my son and my husband. I'm a mom of 3 sons, and I'm a soldier. I know I may not look like a soldier, but 2 weeks ago, I retired after 40 years of service in the United States. I'm not old enough to have 40 years in the United States. I am also a public servant. And I've had the honor of serving for 6 years at the Ohio State House, and trust me, I've learned an awful lot. But the reason I run is not for myself. The reason I run is for all of you. Because I genuinely care about giving back. I care about leadership. And I want you to know, I am the daughter. I am actually the granddaughter of an Irish immigrant. My grandfather came to this country, came to New York City with $1 in his pocket. He was one of 9 children. When he got to New York City, he began to meet different people. He was actually sponsored. And he built a business and became
a millionaire. And that is the American dream. And that is not possible in any other country. Do you agree? Do you agree this is why we are so grateful to be American? And it is, absolutely. And it is what we want to keep. It is this American dream that we want to preserve. And how we do that is we have to support our business owners, small business owners. We have to have business policies that are friendly and not overly intrusive, not overly tax burdening. Because in the end, this is how we're going to grow our businesses. When our businesses grow, we thrive, and our families thrive. And my motto, I had a dream about 7 years ago, and I said to myself, who are you? And what do you want people to know about you? And there were 3 words that came to me: faith, family, and freedom. Faith, because we are a nation predicated on our right to really choose how we want to worship without the interference of government. Family, because the very foundation of our lives, of our culture, is not our government, friends. It's our family. And freedom, because we are the freest and greatest nation in the world. I've served my whole life to defend it, and I believe in it. I believe in freedom. And so that's on every sign that you'll see of mine. My colors of my campaign are black and gold because black and gold are the Army colors. And I am genuinely dedicated to problem solving. You don't hear politicians talking a lot about that. But when I get together with people, I listen respectfully to them. I don't have to agree with you, and a lot of times I don't, but that's okay, because I can learn from you. And I want to share one other thing with you outside of politics. When I was a 16-year-old girl, I took a trip to India. And I went and I worked with Mother Teresa of Calcutta. And I had never seen the kind of poverty, the suffering, the long suffering that I saw when I was there. Children were maimed so mothers could beg for food. And I learned right then and there that 1, I was one of the most blessed and fortunate people in the whole world, and 2, that I was going to kiss the ground of America when I got back. And I did. And I certainly did. Yes. And I also spent the summer in Africa. And when I was in Africa, I learned a lot about the struggling, about agricultural challenges, about food scarcity, how we manage. And so I try to bring all those ideas back here to the State House with me. There's 2 things I'm very, very, very passionate about. The economy, being fiscally responsible. So your hard-earned tax dollars that you are paying to the state, yes, we want to make sure that we judiciously, carefully spend those. If we don't need to spend them, we shouldn't collect them. And for 3 years, 3 times for all 3 of the General Assemblies I've been here, we have reduced state income taxes. Can I get a clap for that? Yeah. Moving forward, I know that Rep. Leader talked an awful lot about education, and I won't do much more talk about it. But I can tell you this, I am the chairwoman for the Finance Subcommittee for Education Funding. So education funding is my bailiwick, it is my expertise, and I think she did a really good job explaining it, so I won't continue to speak more about it. But I will say, education lifts people out of poverty. It is so, so critical. And my son standing in the back room there that just walked in with me, and my other son, they are graduates of Harvard. And they went to Marysville High School, public school. So we are doing a great job in Ohio, and we want to keep it that way. So as I close, I just want you all to know that I'm as committed as ever to serving all of us. I have a genuine record of hard work and integrity. And it is clear, in these challenging times, we, all of us, are going to continue to need a leader with experience. I'm that woman. I will continue to be that woman. I love leading you. I thank you for the opportunity to speak with you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions
questions you may have. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
I'm going to have you hold off on the questions because we're short on time. I'm going to have a surrogate coming that came in specially for Bernie Moreno, our dear friend Senator Michelle Reno. She's been part of the Pakistani community. We call her our Pakistani because she's ours. But every event that we have, she's a part of it. She's been to our iftar, she's been at our Eid events, and we appreciate her that she's here today.
Thank you, Omar, for the warm welcome, and thank you all for being here. I'm State Senator Michelle Reynolds. I proudly serve Ohio Senate District 3 at the State House. I'm one of the newest additions to the Ohio Senate, and I was elected 2 years ago. And one of the things that I decided to do when I came to public office, I said, I'm coming here because, as Rep. Richardson said, I'm an addictive problem solver. That's what actually brought me to the State House. And as an addictive problem solver, I made it my business to put together my 10 legislative priorities, my 10 commitments. And with my 10 commitments, I decided these were going to be the areas of legislation that I focused on, like affordable housing, creating jobs, making sure our K-12 school system is operating the way that it should be, making sure that we put our parents first, and also supporting our local governments, working on revitalizing communities, and having strong families. And I'm proud to say that in the last 2 years, I was able to get 8 bills created into law, and also including religious freedom. But I was able to get 8 bills signed into law in just 2 years out of my first 4, and I'm not done. So results matter when it comes to being I'm here today. I didn't know that I was going to be able to be here, but I'm glad that I was able to come. I'm here today to talk to you about our U.S. Senate candidate, Bernie Moreno. Bernie Moreno, as you know, is not the traditional politician. He is somebody who is an outsider, smart businessman. He's somebody that understands the value of hard work. He's someone that understands how to be a solution to a problem and not create a problem. And when I say that is, government does one of two things. It either solves problems or it creates problems. And Bernie knows that when you are in business, and a lot of you are business owners or you work for an employer, you know that you are evaluated by your performance. And if you fail at your job, then you are fired. Well, he's running against a career politician, as you know, Sherrod Brown. And Sherrod Brown has been in office since the 1970s, probably right around when I was born in 1974. Don't fact check me, it may be wrong, but he's been in office for a very, very long time. And his commitment to us was that he was going to make Ohio first and keep Ohio first. And he has failed miserably. As you know, Washington is broken. It is very polarizing. We don't get a lot of things done in Washington, D.C. because we have a lot of partisanship, and so people are just not working together. I'm not saying that he hasn't done some things for us as, Ohio constituents. I'm not saying that he's even done a horrible job, but what I'm saying is that we now need to pass the baton because we have bigger problems to solve, and they're just not getting done for Ohio. We need somebody like Bernie Moreno. And what I like about Bernie Moreno is he brings that outside perspective to Washington, D.C. And Washington, D.C., as you know, it's a huge bureaucracy. Things are just slow. It doesn't move at the speed of business. But when you're a business person, you have to make decisions. You have to eat what you kill. And I'm just saying that because what you do every day depends on if you're going to eat and be able to feed your family. Bernie knows, as a business person, how to make sure that he is making good decisions that takes care of not just his family, but other people's family. They rely on him making those smart decisions. And as a business owner, he's bringing that perspective to Washington. He's bringing that passion and that resolve to Washington, D.C. Like myself, who came to the public sector after 25 years working in the private business, nonprofit sector, we know how to solve problems. So I like that about Bernie. The other thing that you get with Bernie is you get somebody who's a top producer. You're not going to get somebody who just goes in there and, there's two type of horses that they say that the politicians are. You get your show horses, those that just kind of go in there, want to be seen, think it's all about them, and you get your work horses. People who actually go in there and get the job done, roll up their sleeves. And so he's running for the right reasons. This is not something that he needs. He feels a compulsion to come and help straighten things out. And the stakes are just very, very high in this election. As you know, we have an illegal immigration problem where people are pouring into the country that are illegal, and it is definitely hurting us as not just our economy, but it's hurting us, our community, our values. Everything is being destroyed, and we need to make sure that we take care of that problem. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden had 4 years to take care of this problem, and they're not getting it done. So we need to get it done. Also, as you know, if you've checked your electric bill lately or the gas prices at the pump, inflation is just so high. And we need smart people in there that realize that you just don't throw money at problems, but you have to be transformative and not transactional. And all the Democrats do is throw money at problems. Every time there's a problem or a social issue, they're just like, oh, let's just throw money at it. And now we have a workforce of people that just don't want to work. You have to pay top dollar just to get people to focus on the job and not be on their cell phone and on social media. And a lot of you know that that is true. And so we just have all of these growing issues, and we definitely have to have somebody who is not going to be the status quo, and Bernie is not the status quo. I am an early adopter of Bernie Moreno's campaign. As you know, like I said, I'm a state senator, but when Bernie told me that he was throwing his name into the hat, I actually endorsed him even before our local county party endorsed him. I was an early adopter of him. Not that we didn't have good candidates running, because we have really good candidates running for the primary, but I knew that Bernie added something to the table that the others didn't. And that is that outside perspective of knowing how to solve problems and having the grit and the resolve to get things done for the American people, because he's lived the American dream. So I'm asking you to join me in supporting Bernie Moreno for U.S. Senate. It's very important that we control, this seat is really about who has control of the Senate, and we have to make sure that we have President Trump in office. We have to make sure that we control the Senate, and we have to make sure that we have good representation of our value system, because this is about the soul of America. This is a battle between good and evil, and it is about the soul of America, and that's really what's at stake. Another thing that we need to make sure that we do is that we vote no on issue 1. Now, I know that you've heard many people talk about it, but it is very, very true that if you think gerrymandering is bad, all it's going to do is gerrymander and make it permanent in our Constitution. I'm not saying that we have the perfect system right now. Obviously, there's things that we can do, but you elect your legislators and you hold them accountable so that we can go to the redistricting commission and we can do what you want. And guess what? We did that back in 2015. We heard from the people. Over 70% of the state of Ohio agreed that they wanted this system. And we went to the table, and for the first time in a long time, we actually agreed, the Democrats and the Republicans agreed to a set of maps until the next census. But that was not good enough for the Democrats. So really what issue 1 is about is a Democratic power grab. So it's very, very simple. If you really want to know what this is about, if you are for a Democratic power grab, then you vote yes on issue 1. If you are against a Democratic power grab, you vote no on issue 1. It's just that simple. I know there's 4 pages for you to read through, and a lot of people are confused, but at the end of the day, it's just a way for them to change the rules so that they can actually have more power in the State House. And with their more power in the State House, that means more decline of our values, of our school system, of all of the things that we hold dear in the state of Ohio. There it goes because of issue 1. So thank you so much for just having me today. I only came to stop by and support my good friends that are on the ballot, like Bessa Sheriff for State Senate, and Beth Lear for State Rep, and Tracy Richardson for State Rep. So thank you all for having me. It's very good to be here.
Oh,
Thank you, Senator Reynolds. So obviously, it's not fair that we ask questions from her because she was just a surrogate for Bernie Moreno. But a question I have for you guys, somebody brought up Mother Teresa. Who knows where Mother Teresa was from? Where was she born? Not you, Ben. Come on, I already know you. You heard that. You were there.
I wasn't there, no. She was from, that side from Albania.
So she's from Albania. Yes. Okay, so we have a couple more minutes. And if you guys agree, do you want to do some local questions? Okay, so I just got word that Senator Kunzi's on her way. Here's that conflict. Oh, she's right there. Oh, Senator Kunzi. It's whatever you want to do, Senator.
We stood there. Okay.
I was going to let her try to figure that out.
Okay. Hi. I'm State Senator Stephanie Kunzi. It is a pleasure to join you this evening. I've been your state senator for 8 years and see lots of familiar faces in the room, and I'm so grateful for your support. I'm term limited in the Ohio Senate and seeking a House seat, which is Dublin and Franklin County, Dublin, and then Hilliard. And I'm really looking forward to getting to know all of you tonight. I know there's going to be a little bit of a mix and mingle a little bit after this, I think. And I'm sorry I'm late. I had a fundraiser myself that I had already previously scheduled before I saw this date. So I wasn't trying to be disrespectful by not being here on time. I know that some of the issues that you're interested in. Let me go back a little bit about me. I served on the Hilliard City Council. I'm a mother of 2 daughters. I've been married to my husband for 30 years on November 19th. And our family, we raised our family in Hilliard, but I now live in Dublin. I'm an empty nester and my kids are grown. And I moved to Bridge Park because I kind of just missed having my kids in my house. I'll just be very honest. And so I take a lot of the things that I worked on, both at City Council and in the state legislature, comes from my family and my desire for my children to want to be back in Ohio and be here and grow up with their children, like they grew up and raised their families here. So some of the issues that I've worked on a lot of issues with human trafficking. I've worked on domestic violence issues. I do a lot with children. I chair the Children's Caucus. I chair the Infant Mortality Commission in the state. I chair the State Transportation Committee. And so I have a broad, I serve on the Governor's Workforce Board. Sorry, I probably should have taken 1 minute before I walked in and just started talking to all of you. I feel like I'm rambling. But I feel like I work in a way that I focus on issues from helping children that are young, 0 to 5, all the way through K-12. I'm a former elementary school secretary in Hilliard, so I care a lot about public education and having good education for all of our kids. And then the next step, what are they going to do? Are they going to go into the military? Are they going to do a career? Is it going to be a trade? Some kind of something that a credential that they need. And so I kind of have a different vision than some of my other colleagues who are very specific in their interest of work, like they are more one subject matter. And I think that is something that I bring to the State House that is different in my caucus, and it's something that I'm very committed to, that all children in Ohio have an opportunity to thrive and grow up with lots of opportunities. And so that's been my real mission. Grow up in safety. Hopefully there's a saying, I can't remember right now who said it, it was like, you want a good future, be born in Ohio into a good mom and dad, right? But we know that not everybody gets those 2 opportunities, but we want to provide that for every child in Ohio that is here, moved here, lives here. Some of the economic issues are important. Some of the things that I've worked on, I've done a lot with minority business. I've done a lot with minority business, and I know a lot of entrepreneurs that come to this country. They invest, they want to come so they can have a better life for their families. I'm a granddaughter of an immigrant myself, and that was the reason that my grandparents chose to come on a boat across the sea to come to America. And I hope to provide economic opportunity for all Ohioans. And I just appreciate, I'm getting the wrap up, so I appreciate you allowing me to be here and run in from my other event, but to speak with you. And I'm just very grateful to serve you in the State Senate. If you need anything, please reach out to me at any time. Thanks, Joy.
We're going to give you 2 questions. You can stand up. If you want to sit, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do. Okay, so let me get it. One of the questions was on school lunches. So Amjad, what was your question on school lunch?
Oh yeah. I think since some of you mentioned that you're losing your work ethics in the US, so I think, don't you think it's about time to add a new curriculum in the school that should have a mandatory subject of work ethics? What do you think about that?
A mandatory subject about work ethic in high school. You know, it's interesting because I think there have been, yes, in some ways, yes. I will say there are a lot of opportunities for kids, I think now. We've been investing a lot in career tech, in tolls. Tolls is one of our Dublin, I know, partners. So does Hilliard. I actually represent currently in the State Senate parts of Franklin County and all of Madison and all of Pickaway counties. And I think the career technical education that we have is allowing kids to actually understand the soft skills that are needed for the work ethic. So we're doing some of that, and we're also not really doing, I think, a good job of exposing every child to the things that are needed to be a good employee, to be a hard worker. We're seeing a lot in the government. I serve on the Governor's Workforce Board, as I mentioned, and we're seeing a lot of kids that are graduating from high school and getting a job, and there's nothing wrong with driving for Uber Eats or DoorDash or doing some of these kind of service economies. They're great ways to make money and to be a worker, but we're seeing kids not actually entering into the workforce or getting the skills and the F skills that they need to actually become a successful tax-paying adult later on. And so I think there are some opportunities that we need to instill in children and high schoolers especially the opportunity for work. We're also seeing some policies. I know on the Workforce Board we've been talking about there's disincentives for some of these 18 to 21-year-olds. They might be on, their families might have some government assistance. I do a lot with the Children's Hunger Alliance and some other boards. And there are some families that are using that system and that money that's needed. And then if the 18 to 21-year-old goes to work, then the family loses those benefits. And the family can't afford to not be able to do that. And so we're disincentivizing some of our older, that population that we really want to get into the workforce. And so we've signed a letter urging the federal government to waive that, waive that option that if you actually are 18 to 21 and you get a job and that puts your household over the income for those benefits, you won't lose them, because a lot of kids are saying we aren't going to go to work and our younger siblings aren't going to have those benefits to eat or get access to food. So there's a lot of ways I think that we can also look at some of our current policies to say how do we incentivize that generation. One other thing that Dublin's doing, I don't know if you all know this, they are starting to measure after high school. We know Dublin's a great school district. It's in a suburban area. We're doing well. There's lots of opportunity, but there's a huge population. I think it's about 40% of kids that go to college or go into something, a career, 2-year term, whatever, 2-year school, and don't finish. And we know that's costly and not helpful for the work I think what you're driving at, And so we are starting to, we got a waiver also from the federal government to say we want to figure out where these kids are going after they graduate from the schools and what they're doing and how do we connect the services within high school, the guidance counselors, the people that are really trying to encourage and support young people to find their passion and find their way into a workforce that they love. And why are we not? Where's the disconnect between that? Because we're seeing a lot of kids not reach their full potential.
Okay, before I give her a mic, I would suggest to the government, if we announce no tax on overtime, W-2, a lot of people will like to work overtime. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amy Chelaran. I'm Republican, and I want to ask you to vote for Trump next. But anyway, my main question to you, which I already addressed to Sylvia. I just read today that the administration is about to give $157 million to Lebanon. And as you know, so many weeks ago, the government gave how many billions to Ukraine. Okay, I understand that we need to help these people, but it should be American first. We have a problem with the disaster of Helene and the disaster of the Milton. So many people need help from the government, and FEMA does not have money. So how is it that we can give $157 million to Lebanon and we cannot take care of our citizens who are suffering in these disasters? Did you realize $750?
I think that's
FEMA just said that they have money.
Thank you, Amy, for that question. And honestly, as your state senator, I've had other constituents reach out to me about that, but I'm your state senator, so I don't control the FEMA money, that's the federal. But if you want to write to my office, we're happy to send you the contact information for your federal representatives, and you can send them an email or call them and share your concerns. I'm happy to. Yeah, my office can give you the numbers of who actually makes those decisions, and you can voice those. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you everybody, thank you. So we're gonna wrap this up. We still have 20 minutes, so stick around. We're gonna do, if you want to meet your representatives, if you want to ask personal questions, we'll do that. I think we're gonna wrap up the session. I appreciate it, thank you.
It's a very important race this year because your Ohio Supreme Court is going to deal with some very important issues that face the state of Ohio. Everything from taxes to small business issues, all the way up to a bunch of different issues involving our schools and taxes. So we will deal with all those issues that come before the state of Ohio, very important issues. I'm committed to being a judge who's fair. I've been a judge for 11 years now, got a good reputation of being fair, impartial, and and also understanding how important it is that we make sure people are held accountable for actions, but also people who need help get the help they need. So again, my name is Judge Dan Hawkins. The other two Republican candidates are named Megan Shanahan and Joe Dieters. I think we might have some literature here, and I've got some individual literature out back. I'm sorry it took me a little late getting here. I was at another event, but I was so committed to get here tonight. So I'm more than happy to stick around and answer any all your questions you have. Thank you so much.
And the candidates are still sticking around, but we'll have Shafi, the Executive Director of Somali Chamber, and then we'll have our board member for AACG to close. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge Hawkins. I'm so glad you're here.
Good day. It was a great day. My name is Shafi Shafal. I'm the president of the Somali American Chamber of Commerce. And it was a great initiative that the minority communities have now come together. And this will be the voice of the minority communities. I'm not going to be talking on behalf of the Somali Chamber of Commerce. I'll be talking on behalf of the minority communities in Central Ohio. The leaders of the minority communities, as you can see there, have joined hands. Not only on political matters. Today we have the Republican night, we will have again on the 22nd the Democratic night. And we are bipartisan on this. We were very clear on this. The minority communities have been sidelined in Central Ohio for a long time. We need to be recognized. We are on one team. We are sending our message both to the local and the national leadership. If you want to campaign in Ohio, if you want to reach out to the minority communities, this is the team to reach out. We are more than happy to elect candidates, not on party's position. We are going to elect candidates on the background position. We are tired of candidates who go there and pursue their own interest. Not anymore. We want candidates who will care for the communities of Central Ohio, regardless of color, and candidates who also will care for the minority communities and build a greater Ohio together. Tonight was a beautiful night, and we'll continue with these sessions, and I'm sure in upcoming elections there will be a difference. Please join us in getting hands together with all these minority communities here, Asian American Chamber of Commerce, Asian American Chamber of Commerce, Somali American Chamber of Commerce, the Liberal Initiative that did, initiated for us and help us, the Asian American Commerce Group. It's an honor. It's something that had never happened here. This is a big number. Candidates, be aware. We are so united this time, and we decided to join hands. So please respect the minority communities in Ohio and make sure the minority communities are given their rightful policies. Whenever you are building anything, we are the backbone of the economy of this great nation. So we need to be recognized. And we are so united. So this was a grateful night again, and we are willing to see you guys again in the Democratic night to see more candidates, and we will engage with the national level also, and we will make sure the minority community votes goes for the right candidate. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shafi. To have a power close, we have one of our board members for the Asian American Commerce Group, Bipendra Jindal. 1 minute.
As far as I know, we talked about immigration, we talked about minority. But my personal opinion is that Adam and Eve were first immigrant to this planet. After that, as we progressed, we divided things into the nation. All of a sudden, we have different types of immigrants. But in Ohio, just to give you some statistics from 2021, there are 97,612 Asian immigrants. Chinese, except Taiwanese, 63,256. Filipino, 35,936. Korean, 24,000. Vietnamese, 20,000. Nepalese, 12,000. Cambodian, 6,000. Pakistanis, 6,000. Laotians, 5,000. Then Thai, Bhutanese, Taiwanese, Burmese, Indonesian, and Bangladeshi, Sri Lankan, Malaysian, and these all are about less than 5,000. What does that tell you? So many people, there are no two people alike, right? The thing is, it's not going to take me 1 minute, but it's going to be worthwhile as to what I have to say. That all of us have only one thing in common, and that is, scientifically speaking, we are all called Homo sapiens. Yet no two people are alike on the face of this planet in terms of their creativity, their potential, their ambition, and their willingness to succeed and contribute to make the life better for others. There are some people who are creators, then there are some people who are destroyers. Look at the wars in different places and the chaos what is happening in different nations. They are also Homo sapiens. So when we talk about immigrants, if you look at Ohio, I've been in Ohio for 45 years, and what I have seen is the type of caliber of people you allow to come in, which we call legal immigration, based on their capability. Doctors came in the 60s and 70s. Engineers came in the 80s. Scientists came during World War II. That's what made this country so great. Having said that, I know, just a second, okay? So, my suggestion will be, know your candidate, don't go along the party line, because there are no two people alike. There are some good candidates, and there are some candidates who may not like what you want them to do. Having said that, select your candidate and support all these groups, including AACG, because our goal is to bring good people together who will contribute positively. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. And I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight. We are here because we represent the minority groups, and we are here to educate you and, of course, give the opportunity to our candidates to tell us what are they going to do for us, what are they going to do for the minority groups and small businesses. Having said that, we still have a lot of pizza, and we balance it with some fruit, so please make sure that you enjoy it. Some candidates are still here. Please make sure that you ask your question directly for them, with them. And October 22nd is the Democrat. We are nonpartisan. As 8 of us minority groups getting together, we are nonpartisan, and we would like for you to hear, of course, the Democratic candidates. That will be October 22nd at the Coal Patch in Polaris. So please sign up if you haven't, aacg.org, and also sign up for AACG as a member in Somali Chamber in AACO. And again, having said that, is there anything else?
So one more thing, early voting started. I have orange in my throat, is a little scrappy, and I apologize. But early voting started. We expect this election, the lines to be really, really long on November the 5th. So if you have time, in Franklin County, you can go to the Morris Road office and register your vote. There's no line. But if you have absentee ballots, make sure you get those in. Whatever you do, cast your vote. Don't wait till the last minute. You know, November 5th, your car might break down. It might be a big storm coming. I don't know. But early voting started, so make sure you go out and vote. Thank you very much.
Just to follow up with that, our vote as a minority, a member of the minority group, is very important. And one of the things we are known for is not voting. So that's the reason why we are giving this to you, because your vote is very important. We need to share our voice, and we have to have our voice as minority group. We contribute, as I said earlier, $10.2 billion as minority in the state of Ohio. So please, let's make it count. All right, thank you very much. Enjoy the remaining pizza, get with the candidates, and see you on October 22nd, and please go out and vote. Thank you. A group picture for the members of the leadership of this event.